What's going on, guys? It's Tommy, and I'm coming at you with an action figure review. Today I'm going to be reviewing Medicom toy MAFEX The Mandalorian version 2.0. This figure here, it has quite a story to it, so this is one of the ones that was recommended to me when I started getting into import 6-inch figures by Mr. Coffee and Wilbon specifically, and Fig Fury from the Monday Night Figure Ball show. Those guys were all saying, you really need to get the new Mando, you really need to get the new Mando. So I went ahead and I ordered one from Big Bad Toy Store. The first one I ordered came in and was missing a piece to this gauntlet here on the right, which is a removable piece. I got in touch with Big Bad Toy Store's customer service. They sent me a shipping label, had me ship the figure back, and then they sent me a new one free of charge. So shout out to Big Bad Toy Store and their customer service for helping me out with that little issue. But now with attempt number 2, we get to actually check out the figure, and I'm going to review it for you here today. This is the standard packaging that most MAFEX Star Wars figures come in. Here you have the MAFEX number right here. This is number 200. You have the big plastic window on the front here showing you the figure, and this guy comes with a ton of accessories. I'm talking like deluxe Hot Toys level accessories here. You have down here a figure glam shot, as well as the name of the character, version 2.0, and your logos for Star Wars, Mandalorian, and the manufacturer. On this side of the packaging, you do have another glam shot of the figure. This time he's holding the Darksaber, and then all your logos again. On the back of the box, you get a ton more glam shots of the figure, and it shows you all the million accessories that he comes with. On this side of the box, you get another glam shot and a horizontal look at all the logos. On the bottom, you have all your legalese here, and then on the top, you have just your Star Wars and Mandalorian. Actually, this is the Mandalorian Season 1 logo, interestingly enough, and with that, that covers the packaging. So let's get this figure opened and we'll check it out. Something I think that's cool that they do is they put a little "This is the way" on the inside flap, as well as some mythosaur skulls on these inside flaps. And then, of course, you have a really cool portrait of the Mandalorian and Grogu on the inside of the box. You do have your little baggie here for the pieces to make the classic MAFEX flight stand. You have your little certificate of authenticity, as well as some instructions here. All right, here we go. We have 2 layers for this figure, which is ridiculous. You have the Mandalorian figure and some of the unique accessories, and then you have, let's count them here, 9 alternate pairs of hands, in addition to the 10th pair, which he has in the box here on the figure itself, and then you have some different amp and pulse rifles and things like that. All in all, this is a ridiculous amount of accessories for a 6-inch action figure, in my opinion, so we're going to take the time to go through all of them. Alrighty, so here is Mando. Here you'll see that this guy is absolutely amazing. Really, just automatically, I could tell you, it blows the Black Series out of the water. You know, for the $25 price point that the Black Series is, this is definitely something a lot more premium. I think one of the things right off the bat that impressed me are the addition of a wired soft goods cape. I like all the cutouts at the bottom for just the wear and tear that this cape has, you know, kind of accrued over the years of use, and the wires do run up the sides here, so you can kind of tuck this off to the side if you need to, like he does a lot in the show. This guy is decked out head to toe in just awesome paint applications and awesome choices of color. I really like what they've done for the raw Beskar here, giving it that nice shine to it. Not exactly reflective, which is good for figure photography, but it does give off that effect that you want from that kind of Beskar shiny look. Lots of paint applications that are hidden in here as well, especially down by the cartridges on the bandolier as well as the belt. You've got some really nice silvers and reds here for the little detonators. Even on the back here, just the various pieces that are on his utility belt just look fantastic the way they're painted. Everything's done in almost like a matte finish, I want to say, so that it doesn't look too shiny, too reflective. It's really, really nicely done. You can see they've sculpted in the handle for the vibro blade here into the right boot, and you can see that they've got all these cartridges painted down here as well. Just again, very, very nice attention to detail. I also like on the painted bits, the little bits that are chipped off to show the raw Beskar underneath. The helmet on this just looks amazing. I would argue that, you know, this is right on par with the Black Series for the accuracy to the show. You got some really nice look here for the Mandalorian's helmet. The detail on the gauntlets too just looks amazing. I love how they've painted the hands. Everything, again, I'm a big fan of the MAFEX figures, and I think they've done a very, very phenomenal job with this one. And you can even see the little Mudhorn signet kind of sculpted in here on the right shoulder armor. This guy looks great. I mean, I'm just, more than anything, I'm excited to get him with all his accessories and stuff. So first and foremost, I think now that we've checked him out and kind of gawked over him a little bit, let's check out his articulation. So this guy looks like he's got a double ball jointed neck, which has got some really nice range here. It can look down a ridiculous amount, and it can also look up a really good amount too. You can get some good tilt out of it for some good attitude, and of course it can turn side to side. The shoulder armor looks to be on a hinge at the top of the shoulder here, so you do have some good range for that. And then the shoulders themselves have a little bit of a drop down kind of ball joint here, which also has the ability of a butterfly joint too. It can obviously swivel a full 360 degrees. You do have a swivel at the bottom of the bicep, top of the elbow, and a double jointed pinless elbow, which is going to get you past the 90-degree mark there. And then of course he's got those ball jointed hinges at the wrists. You can kind of spin those around and move them any which way you'd like, which is really nice. He does come with the fisted hands out of the box here in case you gotta get in a fist fight with him. He's got a ball joint at the midsection here, which has some decent range to it. I will say a lot of all the stuff going on here kind of does get in the way. Like the bandolier is a loose piece here, so that's going to get in the way a little bit of the articulation, but you can still twist it around and everything, and it's not going to give you too much trouble. He's got some drop down hips as well, which is a really nice touch. You can get those out, and then this blue piece here, I think it's on a hinge of its own, does kind of, no, it looks like it just kind of flexes out of the way. That does get out of the way, so you can make him do the splits, and with the drop down hips, it just gives you more range and more options as to what you can do with him. And there is, if you drop it down more, there is a swivel hidden underneath there for the thigh. Mando features single jointed pinless knees here, so you can get him to bend about 90 degrees there, which is pretty on par with most 6-inch figures. And then at the bottom at the foot here, you do have, it looks like a ball joint. You can kind of move this any which way, kind of the same way the wrists are done. And then there is a hinge right here about middle of the foot, so you can get some really, really deep foot articulation there. This one kind of, I think this one's not supposed to go that far. It's probably only supposed to go this far, but you can stress them to go even further than that. It's not going to damage the figure at all. Needless to say, this guy has got some serious options for the articulation, but the accessories are even more plentiful in option than the articulation is. So let's start looking at that. Of course, to start here, what would the Mandalorian be without Grogu? So we do have a Grogu here. This Grogu looks pretty good. The face paint on this looks okay. I don't think it exactly looks like Grogu, but you know, the figure itself does here. You'll see I just popped out the arm. Those are on little ball joints there. They don't really have much ability to move though, so I wouldn't worry about moving those too much. The wrists can technically move as well. The head is on a little bit of a ball joint, and then he's got some feet hiding down there as well. Overall, a very nicely sculpted, good-looking Grogu figure, and he's going to be a good companion for Mando. Or if you don't want Grogu to be his own figure, you do also get a little satchel with Grogu's head and kind of the top of his body sculpted in there too. This articulates as well. You have a separate ball joint for the head for Grogu in the bag, and then it's, I don't want to say pleather, but some sort of fabric material for the strap on the satchel here. It's not painted at all, just maybe got a dark wash very lightly, but not too much detail going on with that. You could obviously sling this over Mando's shoulder, and once you get these soft goods cape to lay right, you can get Grogu to lay in there nicely as well. And as Mando says in season 2 of the show, he does let someone know that he keeps it, it's a pet that he keeps for good luck, so you can definitely emulate that here. I think this looks really, really nice if that's the route you want to go with posing your Grogu. I, however, am not going to do that because the Mandalorian's a little too epic to be lugging some baby around. They've absolutely decked out Mando. They do give you a separate head sculpt painted exactly the same as the other one, except for the fact this one has the handy dandy flashlight here done in a little bit of silver, and you can see they've actually painted it a separate color for the front of the flashlight. Very nice that they included this option. And to remove the head, all you do is pull. It's on a nice little ball joint there. Very easy to remove, and just be careful because the top of that pin is a little thin, but you are able to very easily swap your heads on Mando, and here's what this one looks like with the headlamp on it. And I also just had the bottom of the neck pop out with the head. That'll just pop in and out with the ball joint. You do also get a Pedro Pascal likeness for this figure, and I think this one looks really, really good. Whereas I don't think the Grogu looks as good as maybe like the Black Series version. This is definitely the best Pedro Pascal likeness that I've ever seen on an action figure, and I think that this is definitely takes the cake for the winner. Definitely beats the Black Series. They've done his hair very well. I like the way the beard is painted on there, and the facial features look very, very clean. Now this, as I kind of previewed before, was kind of the reason that you would remove the bottom of the neck so that you could have Pedro Pascal's head on the figure here. So I think that looks really, really nice. It looks natural. He doesn't look like he doesn't fit in the armor, like the armor is too big or too small for him. So I would say that this is a very, very well done head for Pedro Pascal's likeness. That being said, we are just going to stick with Mando's standard head that he comes with out of the box here while we show off some of the other accessory options. The thing I'm most interested to get into here is going to be the hands. So like I said before, Mando does come with some fisticuff hands. And the way you swap the hands, I like this more than the SH Figuarts. It's just a pin. You just pop your other hand options in, and it's very nice. He's got some nice little idle hands here, or as some would say, he's got jazz hands. Very nice, some nice idle hands there for Mando. He's also got some nice, I guess I would call these like gesture hands here. Like these are more like if you want to have him holding something, I guess, or you know, if you want to just have one kind of down to the ground, but it's a little bit different than just an open idle hand. You do have that option. He's got trigger finger hands, which are nice so that he can hold his many weapons. He's also got trigger finger hands that are a little different. These ones are meant to specifically hold the Ambin Pulse Rifle because that one's got a little bit of a different grip setup to it. He's also got a third set of gripping hands. These ones are specifically meant for the Darksaber so that he can wield that very awesome weapon. Yeah, I feel like at this point it's starting to get a little bit redundant. These are yet another pair of gripping hands. I don't know what I would use these for. Again, maybe just to hold stuff or, you know, something of that nature, but just again, some more gripping hands. He does come with some nose-picking finger hands as well. You could also make this your "What's up, brother?" hand, which is a nice option. Glad they included that for that reference. We have yet another pair of gripping hands. These ones are pretty clearly for a very thin accessory, that being probably the Beskar spear that he comes with, but there's that option, which also could pass as fisted hands. And finally, we have yet another pair of gripping hands. This is probably maybe to hold the Beskar spear or maybe the Darksaber at a different angle. It is ridiculous how many options they give you for this figure. In my opinion, it's a little excessive, but I guess I'd rather have too many than too few. Of course, who would the Mandalorian be without his trusty jetpack? So they do give you his jetpack here, the Rising Phoenix. Very nicely sculpted, no paint applications whatsoever, but that is not an issue. Now you'll see that the back armor is sculpted into this. What we'll do is we'll move the cape up here. You'll kind of move the bandolier off to the side. So you'll kind of move the cape off to the side. I kind of pulled from the top on this. This was very easy to remove. Don't feel like you're gonna break it. And then you kind of just will slide this, I guess, over and under the bandolier here. Yeah, once you kind of get it in place with the bandolier, it kind of guides itself into place. Interesting system. Does it work very well? That's up for debate, but there's not really much you can do with that. So I guess at that point, you kind of just want to shimmy in the cape behind it, which I will admit is a little bit of a pain in the ass, but once you get it to kind of sit behind the jetpack here, but in front of the back plate, it is actually pretty easy to get this to sit on his back and be very natural. This is also not too back heavy. You'll see I'm able to stand him up perfectly straight, and he's not going to fall backwards with the weight of the jetpack included there. There was a piece that came off on the back of the belt here. This is just some loose, like, kind of strapping going on here, and what you do with that is that's gonna be able to plug in the Ambin Pulse Rifle, which, you know, I'll show you guys later, but this is kind of the placeholder for that when that's not there. Weapon storage. So you do get the Beskar spear, which is sculpted very nicely. Again, very shiny. You'll see there's a little kind of C-clip on this side of the jetpack here, and what you can do is you'll just kind of, I guess maybe you'll push it in from the top here. Trying to find the best way. You really don't want to break these figures when they're, you know, not your usual $25 Hasbro release. So you kind of, you know, I kind of get a little squeamish when it comes to these. Okay, there we go. There's the spear. You kind of got to stretch the little C-clip that holds onto the spear, but it, you know, it's going to pass the shake test nonetheless here, and you're able to pose the figure up so far. And I never realized I never put his helmet back on, but we've got the spear and the jetpack attached. Mando does come with just the hilt for the Darksaber, which is really cool. They've painted all the necessary details on that. And in addition to an unlit Darksaber, they give you a lit Darksaber, which looks amazing. I love the attention to detail, again, on the hilt here, and the effect on the blade looks awesome. Let's get this in hand for Mando here, so let me look through my million hand options that I have, and we'll maybe slip the Darksaber into this one, the kind of angled grip here. Best way with the MAFEX figures, in my opinion, is to attach the accessory first and then attach the hand with the accessory to the figure. So here we'll get some cool little poses for Mando with the Darksaber. Looks awesome. And while I'm at it, I think I want to kind of play around with the idle hands so we can get some more dynamic posing there. So, and then we'll get this cape kind of flowing here. And this is going to be a problem for me because this figure is way too cool and I'm going to be wasting a lot of time. I'm going to have to go through all this footage later, just going and you know, oh, this was a cool pose, and then playing with the figure, and oh, this was a cool pose. So I'm going to have a lot of fun with this one, I can tell. I guess I'm going to show off some of the other accessories here. So you can actually remove this top piece of his left gauntlet so that you can have a blast effect piece for the whistling birds here. So you'll see this is just going to replace that. You have a nice little effect here with some of the little whistling birds popping out. This will plug into the gauntlet very easily, and you'll see you're able to get that really nice, very easy to get. One thing I'm really liking about this figure is how easy it is to get into different poses here. I mean, this just looks awesome right here. This might honestly, I'm gonna really struggle to figure out a pose for the shelf here. I think that's what's gonna be my biggest issue. I guess when showing off effects, it might be smart to show you that this gauntlet also has a removable piece. This is the piece that actually got lost on my other one that, you know, when I opened it up, didn't have it with it, which is crazy, but here's a piece here for flame effect for his flamethrower. You'll see the same as the other gauntlet. You'll just plug that into place and it gives you a nice little flame effect here. Here's another cool pose. I imagine Mando's kind of trying to fight off maybe the guild or something like that. But again, this figure is just awesome. It really truly is. I'm noticing, I was wondering what this little accessory was that came on the front here. I think this is a removable piece so that you can include the Darksaber on his little belt setup here. Could be wrong, but you know, I think it might be. Oh, you know what? This actually might be for the Ambin Pulse rifle now that I'm looking at it. While we're at it, let's take a look at that. You get two versions of the Ambin Pulse rifle. So the one comes with the little strap here so that you can set it up on Mando's body. Here's the one that comes without it here. This is one of my favorite accessories that the Mandalorian comes with, and they both come with some amazing paintwork here. MAFEX really never skimps out on the details with these little pieces. All right, so as I was saying earlier, you do have that one uniquely angled hand for the trigger finger here, and that's because you're gonna have to grip the blaster using that hand because it has a different style grip than the blaster pistol, which I will show as well. But so you're gonna want kind of this one with the different angle here, kind of work your way up to the trigger guard, and once you get it there, the finger will sit nicely in the trigger guard, as you can see, and then you're able to place that into Mando's grip. Mando can like almost shoulder this blaster, not entirely, but it's definitely close enough that it's not really gonna matter. I think the Black Series figure does actually do a better job at this. There's so many hands in front of me, I literally don't know which one to pick. We're gonna go with this kind of loose grip hand here to kind of help us hold the Ambin rifle, which that's going to sit perfectly. And with this look here, we can have Mando picking off Jawas like he does on Arvala 7. You can have Mando picking off some Jawas here. I will say I'm not really a fan of how this figure kneels. It doesn't look very natural, but you can get that pose nonetheless. You can get him nice and low. And standing up, this figure looks much better holding the Ambin rifle. So what you do with that one piece I was showing you earlier is you're gonna kind of slip that over the front of the blaster so that you can, the second blaster, I should say, this is a different version of the Ambin Pulse rifle. There's so much to clarify when you're talking about this figure here because there are just so many accessories. That's gonna plug in nicely there. The idea is that you'll use the one with the kind of undone strap here so that you can strap this. There's a little plug-in right here on the front of Mando's bandolier. You'll plug that in, it's gonna sit there nicely. And then once that piece is secured, it's once again just a matter of posing that cape on him. And then you can have him posed up, maybe just doing the classic little walking stance here. You can have him posed up with the Ambin rifle. Looks great. I, however, prefer the look with the jetpack. Plus, I think this is a lot of moving parts just to get that Ambin rifle kind of set up how you want it to be. It's just, in my opinion, it's too many moving pieces, and I do prefer the look with the jetpack instead. Believe it or not, we've only got a few accessories remaining here. One is the vibro blade. You can see got some really nice paint applications on that vibro blade. It's one of these tight grip hands, I believe, is the one that will hold the blade Very, very snugly too. It's going to be this hand here, you'll see, with a nice tight grip. It's going to hold the knife very nicely. So if you decide you want Mando kind of cutting them up, you can have that option with the vibro blade. Mando does also come with his trusty blaster pistol, which is done in some really nice decos and details. I really like the asymmetric look to this blaster pistol. And for this one, you're going to use the other form of trigger finger hand for him. This fits really smoothly and looks very natural in the hand. And you can get this guy in some really nice blaster holding poses here. I think this blaster looks great in the hand. Okay, I was trying to figure out what this little effect was. I think it might be an effect for the pulse rifle. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I think this might be an effect for the pulse rifle to kind of show that it can electrocute things. I was kind of confused by this accessory. Definitely correct me in the comments if I'm wrong there. Yet another accessory that Mando comes with. I feel like every time I'm like, oh, we're almost done with the accessories here, we get yet another. Got the grappling hook accessory. I'm trying to figure out where this plugs into. Not exactly sure where this plugs into. I'd assume it'd be one of the gauntlets here. I'm not exactly sure where that plugs in, but there it is for you. And then, of course, finally wrapping up with our accessories here, you do have two identical blast effects for the jetpack. Those will plug into the bottom here, and you'll see that they look very nice in the bottom of the jetpack. I guess I should also show how the blaster pistol fits into the holster. You'll see there is a sculpted holster here, and you just push the blaster down in there. It is going to hold via friction. You don't have to worry about that popping out. However, you can pull it out with relative ease. All right, we've finally shown all the accessories for this awesome figure, so let's get him posed up in some dynamic looks. Here's a good one here with the Darksaber and the blaster pistol in hand. I love the wired cape. I love that I can just make it flow any which way that I like. Here's another cool pose here, kind of showing off the blaster and the Darksaber. I think this might be my combo here. All right, enough playing around here. Let's get this flight stand assembled. You got your base here with your 3 different points to plug in your stand. You got the stand here. There's a couple different clip options as well. There's a C clip which will go all the way around. But however, when we use the blast effects, I have found that it's better to kind of set up the one with you got the clip here and then also the piece that goes into the bottom, so you kind of have a better grip on Mando. I've just found it's a lot easier to keep him stable when you have just that extra point going through the bottom of the groin here. So with the flight stand, you can definitely achieve some pretty amazing poses like this one here. I think this looks awesome, and it definitely encapsulates the exact look you want to go for here. So I really think the flight stands elevate the value of this product, and I say that with all the ones that come with the flight stands. All right, I'm up to over an hour of footage here, so I'm going to cut it here. Obviously, I'm going to say you should get this figure. If you're getting into imports, I'd say maybe make this your first. This figure really has everything that imports have to offer, and I think you should definitely get this. You won't be disappointed. And like I said, it's almost got too many accessories, but I think that's a good thing. I'd rather have more accessories than less. But with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did and you're not yet subscribed, subscribe to Blitz Transmissions. I've got awesome content coming out all the time. Make sure to check out my social media. The links are in the description below. And with that, guys, I'm going to keep playing with this figure. I'll catch you for the next review, and may the Force be with you.